Hi guys, my name's Mia and here's another Mia Watches Movies review. So today I'm going to be looking at the film 16 Candles. This one was released in 1984. It is a classic 80s movie. This one was actually recommended by one of my friends just to go watch it and review it, see what I thought about it. So 16 Candles was directed by John Hughes, who also directed a lot of my other favourite classic 80s films, one of them being Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is one of my most favourite films of all time. So the story of 16 Candles is with Molly Ringwald in, who plays the character of Samantha on her 16th birthday, and her whole family has forgotten her birthday, mainly due to the fact that it's her sister's wedding the day after.
She just had a cramp.
The day is filled with all sorts of embarrassments. She goes to school and does what is meant to be a private pop quiz, asking her who she'd do it with. The answers then got found by the guy who she actually wrote down. The film kind of goes from there, to be honest. So this is kind of like your typical 80s rom-com film, and there is quite a predictable ending, but nonetheless I still found it very enjoyable to watch. What I love most about this movie was just the nostalgia and the retro 80s kind of vibe, all the music choices, the style, the makeup, the scenery, and if you are quite into your 80s kind of things, this one is quite enjoyable to watch. The soundtrack has to be my most favourite part of this film, and I'm quite a big fan of the 80s kind of music era. I love 80s music, and there's a lot of obviously 80s music in this film. Another thing that was my favourite part of this movie was the outfits worn. One of my favourite looks is Samantha at the end of the film, where she's in a bridesmaid dress and it's like a lovely pastel lavender kind of colour. Absolutely adored her look, and she had a lovely little flower crown in. Very girly, but do you know what? I'm a girly girl myself, so I'm going to let myself off for that one. The comedy in this film is, you can find it quite funny, but some of it is not very relevant for today, and some of it would not even be socially acceptable for today's audiences. So for example, there's a character called Long Duck Dong. As you can probably tell from the name that he is Asian, and this almost makes him like the weird character of the film. When Samantha is told by her family that she has to take him along to her high school dance, she is almost repulsed at the idea, which obviously in this modern day world a lot of people would find quite offensive. And there is also the sound of a dong played every time you are introduced to this character as well. A lot of film critics have actually accused this film of being racist. This film was made about 40 years ago, so obviously times then were very different to how they are today. So I guess just back then things were more socially acceptable, that they could put these kind of jokes in this film and get away with it. Something that really confused me when I watched this film and I read into this film is, what is the target audience? So in the many places this film is rated a PG, but you see a pair of breasts in it. You also see a bit of drug use, there's obviously alcohol, and there is plenty talk of sex, which obviously I would really not let someone under the age of 12 watch. But then again, the characters of this film are of the age of 15/16, which we would let PG-13s kind of watch. But then obviously there's all these references and breasts. I would also say the storyline is quite immature, because in the real world, who would forget their daughter's sweet 16? And also that kind of storyline is something that would probably appeal to many kind of like young teenagers who are kind of under the age of 15. So it is really confusing as to who is this film kind of like targeted to. Something else in this film that kind of bugged me was the fact that the dreamboat kind of character, Jake, was only really interested and only really knew that Samantha existed once he saw the answers to her pop quiz, which was that she would do it with him. So he was only interested in her once he found out that she would have sex with him. This is a bit nitpicky, but this is like my personal opinion. I don't kind of agree with the message that is given. It kind of put off all the romance for me as well. I didn't think it was very romantic because of that. So back in 1984, when this film was first released, it really held up well. It was like the kind of movie you take with you to a girly sleepover and everyone kind of enjoy it and watch it. But a huge kind of question is, does this film hold up today? Probably not. Like I said, some of the jokes were kind of racist. I'm not sure who the target audience is, and even if it is aimed at ages 15 plus, would 15 plus people even really watch this film? It's one of those films that I want to watch again in the future, but I'm in no rush to. If I saw it on Blu-ray on sale, then I would buy it. Otherwise, I won't go out my way to buy it on something like 4K or whatever. But what I did enjoy most about this film was the 80s nostalgia and the retroness of this film. If you are an 80s enthusiast, this film is for you, but if you want to watch a hard-hitting romance movie, it's not really the film for you. So overall, I am going to give 16 Candles 2 popcorns out of 5. It was an okay movie, I quite enjoyed it, but I think in this modern day society, that film is based at just average. So before I go, I just wanted to answer a question of the day. This one is from one of my friends, thefilm_nerd. His question to me is, favourite horror movie villain? Okay, this is a fun one to answer. My favourite villain from any horror film is the Jigsaw clown. He is actually kind of adorable. There's also this really relatable meme, which I shall post just here. And he's just so cute. I would actually really like to cosplay as him one day, but I don't know if I can fit on a trike. Okay guys, well that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and also follow me on all my social medias, which are linked down below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Score, a direct hit.